Hey, Karen, we're testing our audio. Can you hear? You have to mute yours.
Yeah, this is already muted.
The computer itself. You only have one in Zoom. Hold on, Karen. Hi, Karen. We're just testing the audio. Can you hear us okay?
Okay, I've got it. No, that's not it. Try opening Zoom and then, yeah, join with, there we go. And then put myself on mute. Yes. All right, guys, thank you so much for all you do. For some reason, it's not wanting to stay. Okay, I'm gonna fly home.
Hey, Sally, I'm just checking to see if you can hear me okay.
I did not hear you. From here. Whatever.
How about now? Can somebody hear me now?
You're going for me.
How about now? Can you hear me now? It looks like Sally dropped off. Karen, I'm not sure if you can hear me. You can't hear me for there either, huh?
Oh, no, you just. And everything is in place. And according to them, I drew a ribbon on here. No.
Oh, yay. Okay, good. Thank you.
I don't. I'm going to see at the end of the month.
Recording in progress.
Oh, there you are. Get back.
Wow.
Chandra, can you hear us okay?
Yes, you can hear you. Sounds like there might be an echo. You might try muting your laptop and unmuting the club one.
Okay. All right, can you hear us now? Is that better?
Yeah, that's a much better sound to me.
Should I turn off the volume on mine?
Yes. Please.
I have my volume totally off.
Yeah, you just have to mute it.
Well, I'm unmuted on here.
You have to mute your phone.
I've muted this and I've turned the volume off here.
You have to mute this. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See if that works.
Then I can turn up the volume.
Are you guys still getting an echo?
No, I think we just figured it out.
Perfect. Well, I would be a little closer to my house if I didn't get stuck behind somebody driving like half the speed limit.
Right? That's usually how it goes when we're in a hurry.
Oh, every time. And then of course Scarlett fell asleep in the back seat and
Me, Connor,
yeah, and Connor.
wait, I'm here. I'm just playing Toka Lab.
Oh, there we go. It's you. Okay.
Oh, there's Sally.
Where's Sally?
Oh.
I can't see her. Could you get the phone a little closer to me? Mom?
No, you don't need the phone closer to you. It's on the case.
I want to see her.
You'll get to see her on the big computer in just a minute. We're almost home.
So it turns us backwards.
Yes.
Now I'm no longer on the left side, I'm on the right side.
So we have Karen, Chandra, us, we got people here, 3 people. Kennedy. Is this us?
How have you been?
Miss.
Miss Adventure.
I know.
Next expression.
I just got the camera at the right time because I was like, oh, we should do something. He's like, no, mom. It's like click, click, click. Just got this like funny face on and like. How old? 21.
I was a teenager, but that's right about right. That's about right.
One, and my daughter's
Basically, kids
24.
never grow up.
No.
Never.
Well, yeah, you're older than mine.
30 and 27.
I don't want to say I'm old. November, my older one will be 41, and December, my younger one will be 39. Sorry, this is all we're having today.
I
Thank you,
was emailing with Sue and she said she's on.
Kayla is running the meeting. And she's not feeling well, so she's gonna do it through Zoom.
Right.
And then, we know Chandra had to go. Chandra had to go home because she has the kids.
Right.
I don't know if Shonda's coming. And I don't know if Farrell is coming.
I don't know, I don't see Teresa on there either, Rex or John. We don't even have a quorum, I don't think, right?
No, not yet.
We didn't have a quorum last week either.
There were 6 of us here, 7 of us here though.
Last week, I totally was doing something at home and suddenly I look in this 7:30 and I'm going, oh.
Yeah, I was on a plane, so I didn't think about it. When Matthew had something, he was out.
Matthew was out.
In the
Yeah,
quorum, so.
we were all here. It's like, we're here, we're something else.
I had totally forgot about it. At 7:30, I go on, of course, they'd already closed down.
Rex has stuff to do.
Oh, they really do.
Something. I don't know what it was. And I'm like, "He's on her plane coming home."
When I scheduled it, I was thinking it was the 10th. I was thinking the 10th was the first, but that doesn't make sense. Because it's in a week, but anyway, so when I scheduled, I didn't think about it. I was like,
It happens.
so, hey, Chandra, we don't have a quorum, so what do we do now?
There's this, usually you have to have like 51% of your membership. But we don't ever get that many because a lot of people don't come to meetings. But we have to get all of the board, and a certain number of members. And like right now, we will not have all of the board.
You can't, if you don't have a majority of the board members present, you can't do anything. I mean, we can sit there and you can give reports and updates, but if the board had any action that needed to be taken, you couldn't do.
And isn't it, and it's at this meeting, we were going to talk about the new membership.
Yes. I think elections or nominations too, but I don't know for sure.
So whether Brandy wants it or not, we're gonna put her for treasurer again.
She'll take it.
Oh, I know.
Ah.
She's done too much work not to.
She's been volatile.
That's pretty much it too.
He's like,
I have the hardest time because I've always, nobody put my name up. I put my own name up and I feel bad because I was always taught you never do that. But we need a board. So I went ahead and put my name in again.
Yeah, so the president, the vice president are not here.
Ding dong, Aaron Conway.
Oh, okay, so she's here. Might just be connecting to audio.
Who's that?
Kayla. Okay. So I think we have a quorum now, 4, right? Is that how many we need?
We have how many board members, how many?
who's that?
We have to have minimum, we have to have 5.
We have to have 5. Oh, shoot.
I was just saying who was popping up, West Side River Club.
See, because we have 8 members on the board and 8 members on the board. So that means we need to have more than half, which half is 4.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes. Uh-oh.
I may have just interrupted the other.
You said something about signed out. You have been signed out because you are currently signed into another device.
Yep, I meant to stay in mine and yeah, so I will.
Well, you're coming through fine. So what's that supposed to, which one am I supposed to be co-host? Oh, you're a co-host. Okay.
Oh, there we go. And then more. Just minutes.
And then what's the quorum? Is it 5? Is Greg a board member?
No,
Yes, we need at least 5.
And I think we only have 4. Right? We have me, you, Sally.
And Kayla.
We need one more.
is Shonda coming or Farrell?
Farrell, I'm not sure. She was supposed to be via Zoom
Oh.
and Des was going to try and make it as well. Let me check in with them.
Well, I thought Farrell was a board member and not Shonda. Is Shonda, which is Shonda and Farrell?
No, just
Or-
one of them.
No, Shonda is not on the board.
But
Okay, so
Farrell
it's
is.
Farrell.
Farrell is, yes. So Desiree just got a new phone, so apparently she's having to reinstall Zoom, but she is on her way. And Cheryl's not here yet.
Oh, that was the other-
The agenda's up there, but it's hard to read.
Yeah, that's right.
You know? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's okay. It's okay.
Hey, but I
Sorry, I thought I was on mute. Better be Connor, it's okay. Thank you, Dr. Connor. So it says Shonda, but is that Farrell?
Yeah, I'm here.
Perfect, okay,
wow,
sorry.
real.
Okay.
You want
All right, 1, 2, 3, and Desiree is here, 4, 5, we have a quorum. Means we have enough people to start the meeting.
That's 6 people. 6 out of the board. Because this came up and it's not marked with. So, let's. Might have printed it.
All right, and then I know that we had Juanita was there.
Yes,
And
Present. This is from last week. These people- sorry. Oh, okay. She must be updating it now, then online.
Karen Mitchell and Greg Mitchell. Did I see them both here?
Let's see. This one.
Yes. Was there anybody there in person who's not on the board, another members?
Joanna? Joanna? I'm just saying he's not on board. And Susie, right, and Susie Mapes. Did you sign in? Yes. I will sign it.
So Kayla, whenever you'd like to start, we can call to order and do the flag salute.
Okay, let's go ahead and call the meeting to order.
It is 6:40 p.m.
Okay.
Nice.
That was the one thing I wasn't able to get, was the flag put out. I can just get one. What the heck? Sorry, struggling. I pledge allegiance
To
the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
which
which
stands
stands
one
one
nation
nation
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with
with liberty and justice for all.
Good job, Connor. So, roll call.
Oh, yes. So let's see. So President Matthew Barrett not available, Vice President Kayla Sullivan here, Treasurer Brandy Wallace
Here.
here, Secretary Chandra Kay,
Here.
Sally Gill,
Here.
Desiree Murphy,
Here.
Cheryl Elfstrand. Not here. And Farrell Davis.
Here.
And then I've got Juanita Talavera, Karen Mitchell, Greg Mitchell, and Susie Mapes. Did I miss anybody?
You don't know.
Joanna?
Yeah.
Did you miss Joanna?
Oh, I did miss Joanna.
I'm going to.
Bennett?
Yes.
Thank you.
See you.
Oh, well. Is it coming?
So total of 11.
There's five in person, and I'm not sure how many's online.
Okay, I think we've got roll call dealt with.
Okay. And then does everyone have access to the last meeting's minutes?
I think that's what was printed.
Is that what you printed?
I think I only printed the agenda. I don't think I got
Okay.
last month's.
Oh, gotcha, okay.
Oh, it looks like Matthew may be joining us. His other meeting ended early.
Right.
Oh, that's why I'm having problems.
He's back.
Hey, everybody. My other meeting ended early.
We've just basically taken roll.
And we're reviewing the minutes now, right?
Right?
Is that what's on the screen now, the minute?
Yes, the minutes from September.
Kayla, if it's all right, can you just keep conducting? I'll just be here as to help complete the quorum.
Sure, that's fine.
Great. I mean, I'll answer whatever questions if people got. I'll just
I see Sally has raised her hand.
I move to accept the minutes as written.
Second.
Am I still going to be doing the motions, or will you take over those ones?
You're doing it all.
Okay,
You're in
sounds
charge.
good. Okay, so there's a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Anyone opposed? Motion carries.
Did you want to say all in favor?
Oh, yes, all in favor.
Aye.
Motion, or any opposed? Motion carries. Okay. Then are we ready to start on the committee reports now?
Do we have any reading of communications, anything that we've received in the mail or email that is vital to club information?
We did get an email from somebody wanting information, I think on one of the events. Did you see that come through? But outside of that, I haven't seen any other emails or mail come through.
My apologies. Okay, so I apologize. Where are we at?
We just had a member of the public come through, Rex is here, or the membership, sorry.
Okay. Hi, Rex.
Hello.
And then I don't think anybody has anything for the reading of communications.
All right, so membership committee.
Okay. So the current total number of members is 83. And unfortunately, there have been two members that passed, Dolores Young and Richard Bynek.
And we will be getting an influx of membership as the co-op, the homeschoolers are planning on having a lot of their members join as well. So we will get an influx of membership here shortly. I know. And I think that's all we have for membership as of right now for report of the committees.
Sally has something.
I have a question.
Oh, yes.
Okay, we have been putting the membership as a possibility with the different levels and everything, but we've never voted on it at a general meeting.
That's under new business. I guess, but it is in the agenda.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, and then for finance.
Just a moment. Sorry, I'm trying to bring up the paperwork that Brandy submitted earlier.
I forgot to give you the CD one, I think. I'll read that real quick while you're pulling up the other ones. You just, let me see. If you can pull up.
I made you co-host if that helps.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'll pull it up.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab a document real quick. Let's see. Oh, this is not gonna work. Oh, there it goes. All right, well, Kitsap Bank CDs, we got notice of a $16.50 for one of our CDs that happened, and then an additional $5.14. Altogether, 8 CDs is $2,222, 600, oh, hold on. $222,620.12. That is the balance for all of the CDs. Eventually that'll come up on the screen. And I do have printed copies over here. So if you want to grab a copy of the these, you can right here. We got a lot going on here. Okay, let me pull this up for you guys so you guys can see, so that people online can see.
Okay.
Hopefully people in person can see. So basically just have the accounts, the types, the amount, when it was open, mature date, the interest.
Brandy, I don't think you're sharing screen.
Oh, shoot, okay. How about now?
It is starting. There we
All right.
go.
Okay, so there's the tabs there, the interest earned column, and then the date that is listed here, those are just the last date of the interest earned, and this is the amount that we earned for that date, and then the current balance as of that date. And then here's the grand total of $222,620.12 for the CDs. And then I'm going to pull up the general account. But I got to reopen and reshare. I'm going to go full screen. Okay, profit and loss. This is for the general account. You can see I've added the deposits on this column, expenses over here. What the difference would be by month if we were to deposit and expend out on a monthly basis. We just didn't have payroll for this month, but we paid the 1st of October. That's why that looks weird. But here's all of the deposits for September. Total deposits for September for the general fund was $1,116.30. Total expenses for September was $2,284.14 with a deficit of $1,167.84. But because we do have a balance in the account, we're not running negative. I'll just run over here to the deposits real quick to kind of give you an idea of what deposits we've seen for September. Let's scroll down here. So we just had a rental, an event space table. We've had a couple credits, it looks like, from returns from the bingo when they use the debit card, which I got to transfer over the funds later. So those are the expenses there. And then if you come up over here, we haven't had any rental returns, although I have one pending that I got to look into. Oh, shoot. Hold on. Sorry. I'm on deposits, revenue. Hello, sorry. Here's the revenue that we received in September, which is the rental, the space, and a couple of credits. We haven't received any rentals in September deposits. And then here are the deposits, $269.50 for the bingo daubers. Expenses for September. Again, the U line and the wholesale bingo, that's bingo expenses. They're using the debit card. I have to transfer it over. I'm in the process of issuing them a debit card. So the expenses will come out of bingo instead of the general fund. I'll get that all cleaned up by next meeting. And you'll have a true balance of what's in the general fund. Right now, we're running behind because of the bingo use. Letnitz for the park, pest control, QuickBooks, The Walmart probably is a purchase from Bingo for their games, but I'll confirm that. Other expenses, again, we didn't have payroll in September, but you can see that that was paid out the 1st of October, for the first week of October. And then expenses for September, you can see the cell phones, gas, garbage, internet, water, sewer, alarm. About little over $900 for September's expenses. And again, the profit and loss. Any questions on the general fund? Property taxes are due at the end of the month. I'm going to have those be paid out of Bingo because our general fund doesn't have enough funds to pay those expenses. I am working on a cost allocation. So probably makes sense that the first half of the Bingo, or the first half of the property taxes should be paid from general fund, the second half from Bingo, and it's a even 50-50, but I'll have to do the cost allocations. Hopefully by next meeting, I'll have all of that done. So that is general fund. Any questions on general funds? I have all of these on PDF format that was emailed to the secretary. So if anybody wants a PDF version of any of these reports, we'd be happy to email them to you. And then also our printed versions of what I just talked about as well for you to take home.
You will have their own financing.
They have their own bank account.
Right.
Yes. And I'm getting ready to go over those numbers now because I don't think, right, Teresa's not here?
That's fine.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so I'm going to close this out and then I'm going to open up the Bingo and run into Bingo. I don't have all of the numbers that that Teresa would normally have, like the attendance, but I can tell you what we paid for expenses, deposits, and profit and loss. So here is, give me a minute, I'll share the screen again. So profit and loss for Bingo for September, we deposited $14,779.32. Believe it or not, that's the lowest since March. And then we had payroll, which actually is the highest this year, of $9,321.50. General expenses about a little over $5,000, and then the $65 was the raffle license with the gambling commission. So the difference, if we were to again run on a monthly basis, we would be positive $272.96 for the month. That is the Bingo numbers, expenses. And I'll go back and tell you what the deposit, let me tell you what the just for the record, the general fund bank balance as of October 10th, 2022 is $2,517.48. Total year-to-date deposits was $65,025.12. Beginning ending balance as of October 10th, 2022 for the Bingo account is $64,062.33. Total year-to-date expenses for the Bingo was $92,655.50. The payroll, here's the details of the payroll. Those are all the employees again, $9,321 for payroll. Other expenses for Bingo account would be the petty cash, which is the kitchen and Bingo expenses. Bingo paper, they had a Pick 8 payout in September, and then they also bought some more papers, Bingo papers through CDI in September as well. So again, that's the expenses of a little over $5,000 for Bingo in September. And again, here shows the taxes. Let's see if I can move this so you guys can see online. Here's the taxes for taxes and licensing for September. We just had the raffle license of $65. And then October 31st, I will be paying the LNI, IRS, Department of Revenue, Gambling Commission, PFMLA, employment security, all of those quarterly taxes will be taken out, and you'll see that next month. Deposits, pretty straightforward. Here's the deposits. Again, 14,000. Here is all of the listing of the deposits of basically each day. Each deposit represents a bingo day. So there is that. And again, your profit and loss for bingo. Any questions for bingo? And again, PDF versions online, I can email them to you. And then printed versions are all here in the hall. That's all I have to report.
Thank you, Brandy. That was very thorough and that adds a lot. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
So that brings us to building improvements, and I think the only thing that is on that is to let everybody know that the new doorknob and the security system has been installed, so that when for right now, I believe anybody entering will have to enter their code on the doorknob itself to unlock it, and then again on the panel. That is a temporary thing. Eventually, once you get the door unlocked, it should unlock the panel as well. So but that has been updated. So our security system has now been fully installed.
And just so you know, Chandra, I just checked, we have the email with the instructions on how to combine those. So once we follow those instructions, one code will unlock and deactivate.
Perfect.
Quick question on that, this is Rex Stoucher. There is no doorknob on the door to pull the door open. You have to stick your finger into the old block hole to pull the door open. Is it in there now?
Yeah. Look, there's a doorknob.
Oh, okay. It wasn't there when I left this afternoon.
Yeah.
So all of the codes that you have used in the past are still the same codes. You would just use them on the doorknob now instead of the panel. And then, so I will have that updated by the end of the day, hopefully. Was there any other building improvement?
Sally has a hand up.
Oh, sorry.
What if you never had a code?
We will make sure you have one.
Thank you. Not like I need it that much, but.
I believe, Sally, I'm gonna send you a message, or have you send me a message of your any 4-digit code that you can remember easily, and I will make sure that you are input correctly.
Okay.
I don't believe I have a code either.
Okay, same. So send me your information and we'll make sure I will get everybody on the board with a code.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Was there any other building improvement, Matthew?
The Ahern Electric is coming on the 18th. I need to verify the time with them. I had them email the time to the club. The email never arrived. They're coming on the 18th to fix the lighting on both ends of the building. Apologies, we can't get it fixed sooner. They're the only ones with the boom that allows them to go that high. We are aware of how this is helping certain neighborhood elements to do drugs next to our building.
Also, I wanted to throw in there that we have had the canopy for the cover for quite some time, but we do need an assist to get that put on. So if we can schedule a day or morning or something to get that worked on, with the rain coming soon, we should get that done sooner rather than later.
Nice.
Are you looking for volunteers?
Yes,
So you have the canopy cover?
we do have the canopy cover. It is in the coat closet.
How many people do you need?
Probably at least 2 or 3.
4 or 6 would be preferable.
Okay.
Somebody that can go on the ladder and won't fall
We can also put it on its side potentially and put it back up.
off. It is bolted to the concrete or the asphalt, which means you'd
Never
have to try to pull them out of the asphalt to take the 6
Oh.
legs.
Bring a ladder?
We have ladders.
I can do mornings while my son is at school. If anybody else has any of that time available.
I might be able to help in the morning as well when my daughter's at school.
Hey, Chandra,
Yes.
if you send me a message and remind me, and I will tell you a way to be able to put that on like super easy. It's how we used to put the shade cloth on the high tunnel, the big high tunnel at the farm. So
Are you able
send,
to join us if I come pick you up?
I might be able to, depending on what day it is.
How is Friday for everybody?
Friday works for me.
I believe I can do Friday as well.
What time?
Let's say, what, 11, 12?
9?
Earlier?
I can't do 9. That's when I drop my daughter off at school, but anytime after 9:30.
How about we do 10 a.m. Friday morning?
Sounds
That
good.
works
Should
for
work-
me.
That should work for me.
Okay. So anybody who can be there, please come. Yeah, is very appreciated. Thank you, guys.
And that's this Friday?
Correct. So the 11th, sorry, the 14th. And then since Shonda is not here, I will go over events and entertainment unless there's anything else building improvement. Okay, so we did not get enough people for the October rummage sale, so that was canceled. The Artisan Marketplace is the next event we have scheduled. That is for November 19th and 20th from 9 to 4. Artisan Marketplace is purely for homemade handcrafted items. This is not for multi-level businesses or mass-produced items. You can go online to our website and you are able to purchase your tables for both the Artisan Marketplace and the Holiday Bazaar. The tables are $20 a day or $35 for the weekend. Same as always, you get the 6x3 table and includes 2 chairs. If you would like to pay for that in person, you can do so tonight as well. Brandy is there and can accept, sorry, Brandy, I should have just mentioned that, but she can accept payments as well for that. There is a link online to be added to our vendor list as well.
I thought it was $25 for the weekend for members.
Yes, and that is, I was gonna move on to that next. So the members get a discount, so they will have $25 for the weekend per table. And that's the same with the Holiday Bazaar. So it'll save you $10 per table for the weekend. And so the Artisan Marketplace is November 19th from 9 to 4 p.m. And then the Holiday Bazaar is December 10th through the 11th, and both are online on our website as well. After that, the Halloween event, Farrell has been doing an amazing job setting up the haunt. It's gonna be bigger and better than last year. She's got more rooms, more props. We are still looking for donations of candy to give out to the trick-or-treaters. We are also looking for those willing to do a trunk or treat on Halloween from 4:30 to 7. The haunt is gonna be on October 22nd through the 23rd from 5 to 8 p.m. The first hour of each day will be aimed towards the youngers, the littlers, and so that it'll be a little less scary. Cheryl, I did see that you said as part of the Halloween haunted house, recommend considering transportation allowance for Farrell for gas costs and transport. I do think that Farrell may need either a trailer and or a U-Haul to get all the items. What are your thoughts, Farrell?
Yeah, that would be nice. It would be less trips.
So I would like to move that we allow Farrell to get a U-Haul for the day of and for the day going home to transport all of the items, because she has everything at home and she is way out there in Port Orchard.
Yeah, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second,
Any further discussion?
What's the cost?
I will have to double check that. I would say for both days, I believe you can get it for under 100, but I will double check that.
So under 100 per day or 100 for both days?
I believe it's under 100 for both days. I will have to look that up. If anybody has the ability to look that up while we're talking, I can hold my motion for.
Yeah.
for a
I'm
moment.
looking at it right now.
So until I will get a chance to look that information up. But I would even be putting it, if as long as it's under a $200 budget. If that helps in the motion.
U-Haul prices for a truck when moving locally start at $19.95. So, yeah, local moves, and here's another site says $14.95, as much as $29.95 for the biggest size after fees. So yeah, I think this is reasonable.
So
Now
give her
is-
$100.
okay? Is it gonna be returned or are they going to keep it for the weekend? Because you're gonna need it Friday, Saturday, and then Monday is a tear down. Get it for Friday and then take it back on Monday?
I would probably get it Friday morning to move everything there, return it, and then pick it up again Monday morning to get everything back.
That's what I was thinking.
That's all I was asking.
That would keep your costs low. Yep.
So
Okay,
it would
there-
be under $100 and we have a motion on the table.
And is there any further discussion?
I call for the question.
Yes. Go ahead.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so that was there anything else you wanted to add for Halloween?
Well, you already covered, we need some trunks, right? For the 31st. Candy donations, you can drop them off at the club. There is a bin. If there's some people that might want to help up with setup on the 21st, that would be great.
Oh, yes, and tear down on the 24th too, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So if anybody has any time available, do you know what time you want to tear down on the 24th?
I will be there early in the morning as soon as I get the truck or the U-Haul.
So
I
should
will be
we
there.
say like 10 a.m.?
That would work.
Okay.
And
what time
then,
is set up.
yeah, set up. I plan to be there pretty early too, probably about 10 a.m.
Okay.
If not, yeah, 10's probably good actually.
Yeah, if you're going to pick up the truck and all that as well.
Yeah, yeah. Because
And
I'll
then-
need, I don't know if I'll be able to start tearing down tables after bingo the night before. So there could be people doing that while I get the truck and get a load and all that.
Okay. Yes, Cheryl, I did.
Thanks,
see-
Cheryl.
You do not have to buy for yourself. We are trying to get as many donations as we can so that people don't have to pay out of the pocket. And then the next event after that is Founder's Day and the Members Holiday Dinner. So the Founder's Day and all that is for on December 3rd. And we are doing the walkthrough timeline from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. And then we will have the Members Holiday Dinner from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. This will be our holiday dinner. So it's going to be Thanksgiving and Christmas combined, basically. We will provide the meals. And then we are asking for suggested donations of $10 per person if possible. But again, it's not a requirement. And this is the day that we will also be doing the tree trimming and the decorating of the holidays. So that will be our big holiday festivity. And then we have the holiday bazaar on December 10th and 11th from 9 to 4.
Just a moment. I'm seeing 2 questions in the chat.
Oh, did I miss it?
And one question out here. From Susie.
Okay, I can't see hands raised, so I apologize. Where are the questions in the chat?
I don't know. I'm just seeing there's 2 notes there in the chat.
Oh, I've already from Cheryl, I've already
Okay,
pressed
sorry.
them. What about there in person?
Susie.
Is the newspaper like the Kitsap Sun?
I can't hear Susie.
Does the newspaper Kitsap Sun supply?
Or no, the Kitsap Light, like there's a bunch of.
There's
Spear
Josh,
Porter.
Josh, what's his name?
Or
Does
Farley.
Kitsap Light.
Farley.
Oh, the Kitsap Sun.
The Kitsap Sun, Josh Farley and his Kitsap Life, he does a video as to what's going on.
Yes, I have reached out to the Kitsap Life people, and they are supposed to be getting back to me, and they are hoping to do a spotlight on our club that day.
Like
that what you
after the event or before the event?
During the event.
I believe during the event. Because if they're doing a live as well, it would be posted during the event. Were there any other questions about any of the events? So I will touch base on publicity then. The newsletter has gone out. Everybody who we have their email for has received it via email, and a large sum of people who have requested hard copies have gotten those in the mail. I did just get some more postage stamps, so I will be sending out another batch tomorrow. There's about a handful of people who have not yet received their newsletter in print form, but they do have it on email.
When did you send out the email?
Very beginning of September.
I didn't know.
If you have not received it, let me know. I know for some reason we have issues with your email, Sally. Yours comes back, it pops back a lot.
Okay.
We did just have a meeting with the Valpak and we are waiting on our proofs for that. We have submitted all of our information to get that out for the next 3 months. And we are looking at every 3 months doing a Valpak advertisement. Which actually, Brandy, in the office on the desk is the forms for Valpak for the payment setup, which I was going to talk to you about tonight and I did not get a chance to.
Okay.
And then you mentioned Kitsap Life. I did get in touch with them. It is a social media outlet that highlights Kitsap businesses. And so I am in touch with them. And then I did also put our advertisements and our flyers on the Macaroni Kids Club. Just a second, Connor. And that one was for the Halloween events and our artisan marketplace and also for the holiday bazaar. We have not yet done a peach jar advertisement. We do not have any credits left with that one. And so I could not remember if we had agreed to do another batch of credits or if we were going to wait on that. Other than that, that's all I have for publicity. All right, Kayla, back to you.
Okay, for community development, do we have anything for Viewpoint Park? Or the community garden?
Viewpoint Park is closed for the season. The sign is hung on the gate. Closed October 1st.
When does the season run? October 1st to,
I don't remember. It's
don't know
on
that
the
part.
site. It used to, 8 years ago,
October to April, I thought.
April 1st. I don't know. They went in and took all the berry vines down and made paint marks on the asphalt, showing the area where the open drain is in the middle of the parking lot. And then they went down and cleaned out the culvert down below the table area. But they never cleaned out the other drain from the area in front of the gazebo. So I'm not sure what they're doing. Probably Public Works. But I don't have the phone number for the Public Works people that would do that. They originally had planned to put a rain garden in the lower area, so I'm not sure if where they're at in the planning. I did talk to Deborah Kerr, and she didn't know either, so she's the one that was running the area for the park.
Okay, and did we have anything for community garden?
I think that's me.
And
So,
Joanna, we may need you to get a little closer to the microphone.
okay. All right, I'll just right over there. So we met a couple weeks ago and the Boy Scouts met up, a couple representatives from the homeschooling group and Matt. So we all met up and kind of talked about like what we all were hoping for the group. And the Boy Scouts are looking for volunteer projects. The homeschoolers obviously want to be able to use it on a regular basis. And Matt had spoken with Desiree. She wants to take a step back and be more of a consultant type of role. So Allison is one of my board members with the homeschooling group. And I told our board, I said, I don't want to take on the whole thing by myself. So Allison and I are going to tag team it. And so basically what we found out is that the bees that have been of concern are burrowing bees, and Matt confirmed all that today. So what that means is that once the ground gets wet, they will just go away. And my husband and I were in there measuring today, and my 5-year-old ran right through one of the spots where we had seen the bees, and we didn't see any action. So we'll take that as a good sign. My husband also dug multiple holes throughout the area to see what was underneath. And it is very rocky and solid, but it is not concrete, which we've been previously told it might be. So let's see. I was just planning on reading this and then I didn't. So I am working on preparing a proposal to the board for removal of, for financial means of removing of the weeds and getting everything all cleared out of there. My husband is a contractor and has the ability to do a tractor, which would be much faster. And once I started running the numbers, probably cheaper as well, because we'll be donating that service. Oh, and we're looking at probably putting out down some clover. And then once we do that, we'll start working on some actual projects and we'll get things going. So, anything else?
Thank you so much for taking on that.
Yeah, I think a lot of our kids are excited.
Good.
Thank you.
But also for the garden, I put probably 100 feet of plastic 3/4 inch pipe in the back of the building to attach to the ones that are down there. Because it goes up to where the garbage can is right now.
Yeah,
And we have to put a connection on it for a hose bib. And to put a faucet on the other end by the lower gate. So right now, I believe we still have the hose in the furnace room that runs from the outside faucet at the back area with a garbage
well,
dumpster used to
just
be.
let them know about that. We don't need to discuss all of that right now. Just let them know that those resources exist and they'll take care of it.
And the other thing is the composter bin is still in the back of the building. Halfway down on the side. The water 50-gallon barrel is also back there, which makes it difficult to get back in the area. I got chewed out at home for walking behind the building and stepping on the blueberries that are on the ground, and then I tracked them in our house. So it needs to be cleaned again back there, and the berry vines need to be cut back probably within the next couple of months. Get ready for spring. Okay.
Okay, and then anything for the Sunshine Committee?
It's over there.
I did touch base with Rosetta. She is willing to continue doing the Sunshine Committee. She has recently sent out the thank you note to those who donated at the community festival that we did. So she is sending out thank you notes for that. And I believe she is also still keeping up with birthdays. So if you had a birthday recently and have not got a card, it's probably because we don't have your date of birth on file. So if we can get that information from you, we can get you a birthday card.
Sally didn't get one.
So yep, we need to get your well, happy birthday, Sally.
Thank
And we need to get your birthday on file.
Yeah, having records of that is actually the exception rather than the rule. rule. The majority of we actually only started gathering birthday information with membership about 2 years ago.
When I joined.
Yeah.
Okay, and did we have anything for kitchen?
Not that I'm aware of, as Shonda or Teresa are not here. They have been doing really well. As far as they have been consistently selling out of their items and have had a lot of good feedback. That's all I know about that.
Okay,
They average about 150 a night-ish. Sometimes they'll do 100, sometimes they'll do 300. So they're averaging about 150 a night in sales.
Perfect.
very good.
Madam Vice President,
Yes.
I would like to call to the attention of the club. I'm not sure that the kitchen really needs to be a committee anymore. It wasn't for a long time, and then it was briefly because we were struggling with some stuff with the health department, and they insisted we do things a certain way. The person who was insisting that has left the health department, and they've relaxed their standards. They're not breathing down our necks like they were. I don't know that the kitchen needs to be a committee.
Hmm.
If we need a kitchen committee because of something ad hoc, we can make an ad hoc committee.
Okay,
I would almost recommend that we bring that to the board and discuss dissolving the committee and making sure that, because I believe they had their own budget at one point as well. So if they're still have finances and things like that out, we just need to make sure that we are figuring out where we're going to keep track of all that.
Okay.
okay. So then we'll discuss that more at the next board meeting.
That's what I would recommend.
Do we need a motion for that?
Not at this point, I don't think.
Okay. Okay, so then moving on to new business, the membership tier upgrade.
Okay, so that is me as well. So the last month, we had discussed potentially updating our membership rates and fees. Reason for that being is that one of, just as an example, one of the benefits to our membership is that we get, apologies, that we get a dinner at China Sun Buffet, and that in itself is more costly than our membership. So we are actually taking a loss every single time, every year. Oh my goodness. Apologies.
Can
Sorry.
you zoom in a little bit more? Maybe do like half at a time, just so that way we can see. it
Yeah,
on
let me see if I
a little
can.
bit better.
Control plus. You've got a lot of white space there on the sides.
Does that help at all? Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Yep, just a little bit bigger would be nice.
How's that?
That's better.
Yeah, better.
Okay. So my proposal is that we raise the membership cost to $20 for the year for individuals. This would more than cover our buffet. And then this would also give us, with your benefits, you would get a discount for events, table fees, hall rentals. You'll still get the quarterly newsletters. Connor, please come out of the kitchen. Thank you. I see you, Greg. So the recommendation or the proposal would be that we raise the individuals membership to $20 for the year. And then we are also looking at adding a kids club, which we had gotten approved in the past. We're looking to do the kids club ages from 5 to 17 years old. For just one child to join the kids club, it would be the $15 a year. Or if you have a family of 4, you can get it for $50 a year, and then each additional after 4 would be $15. That would also help to cover the cost for China Sun Buffet or our meals. They would also get discounts for the teen night and the game night that we are going to be setting up in 2023. And they will have their own quarterly newsletter as well. And the newsletter will have things such as different community service involvement programs. We'll have the scouts involved, different events, things like that. So as far as individuals, that would be the new membership cost proposal. The other part of the proposal would be memberships for nonprofits. So we have a lot of nonprofits that use our club for their meetings, for their parties and things like that. So we would like to be able to accommodate them. So the proposal is for a nonprofit group of less than 25 members. It would be $50 a year. And once a month, they get access to a conference room for free. For a group of 25 to 50 members, it would be $100 for the year, and they would also get the conference room for free once a month. For a group of more than 51 members, it would be $250 a year, and that would actually give them access to the main hall for free once a month. And then they would also get reduced costs for events, reduced ticket costs, first access to the table sales, table fees and hall rentals would have a reduced rate. They would receive our quarterly newsletter. And then what we'd also like to offer is the online marketing option. So if they would like, they can send us flyers or things like that that are digital, and we can put those on our website. We can put those on our Facebook and help to advertise for them as well. So that is the proposal. And this is actually the second time I've brought it to the club, and I did actually send this out as an email as well. So I would like to make this a motion. I would like to
move that we accept the membership tiers.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Randy seconded.
Okay, is there any further discussion?
I have one small suggestion. Maybe
Go
it's
ahead.
just a pet peeve, but I think we should be saying at no additional cost rather than free, because they are paying for it
Fair enough.
at no additional cost.
Okay, is there any more discussion?
This is Rex Tauscher with NARF organization. We just had our meeting today. Does that apply? We have 440 members, not all in the local area though.
It would be the local branch, I would say.
Well, we'd have to, half of them go to Arizona in the wintertime. But anyway, $250 a year would allow us to use the hall rent-free once a month.
Correct.
Right now, we're paying $75 to $85 per month, but we're also using the board meeting in the kitchen area once a month also during the same time frame that we're holding bingo here, but it's noon to 2. So you'll be giving us an extreme bargain because we have our health fair here in November. We normally pay $175 because it goes from 9 o'clock in the morning till 2 in the afternoon. We require some additional setup other than the normal bingo setup. So I guess, do we need any clarification on what the hall usage is? If it's just, we don't rent it to the public. We do have a public meeting here periodically. Like today was the Kitsap County Auditor gave us a clarification on voting and what the possible plans were for changing the voting procedures. Previous month, in October or September, was the Gorse Coalition meeting, where we had the whole panel up here that are doing the study of the expenditure of funds and what the design for the new Gorse bypass would look like. We didn't charge, we ended up putting an advertisement in the Kitsap Sun for a 3-day period, cost us $380 just for the ad. So we would be able to put it online through the club's advertisement?
Yes, we would be able to advertise your events up to 2 times a month at no additional cost. And you would get the use of the hall for one time for free. So if you have a second meeting that you're doing, then that would be at our regular nonprofit rates. So anything more than, because you'll have the one meeting for free, and then anything after that one, you would just pay the regular nonprofit rates, which we do have
One
discounts for
meeting per
nonprofit.
year?
No, per month,
Per month. That is per month, right?
right.
Yes, per month.
One meeting per month.
I will bring that up at our board meeting next month.
And then if you meet.
As long as we get it approved today, yes.
Okay, well, not necessarily, if it's for next year, it would be fine too. We're still planning on using the club because the parking lot is a big draw for anything that we have to have outside advertising for, especially like the health fair, which is November. Brings in 3 of the primary healthcare units plus several nonprofit sources for senior living facilities, hospice, and whatever else.
Okay. Cheryl, you had a question as well?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the thing is, what I like clarified is it talks about the hall rental savings of $195. The one thing is, I don't know what the base rate is and what it's being taken for. And also, I know we have the thing for active members, if you have a personal use, you can get the hall. I think we had it last was $75. People have it for like funerals and stuff like that. And that was in the bylaws. So I'm assuming that that's not going away, but I'm just
No,
trying
that would
to.
not.
Okay, so the second thing is, though, when you say the 195 savings off of what? So what is the base rate and how are you figuring the 195 savings?
The base rate is for $420 for a regular hall rental.
Okay.
And so that would bring it down to $225.
225, okay. And I know that I know in the bylaws you don't want to put like all your rates in there because you're changing them periodically. You want to keep that open-ended, as
Right.
determined. But I think when you say the 195 savings, I think it should be put in there. What is the base you're taking it from, so they have a better idea. Because I could be charging 700 and I'm going to save 195, or I could be charging 300 and I'm saving 195. So I think you need to make the base rate clear to the person.
Well, you usually usually make that clear when you're going to rent the hall, how much it is. Because
Yeah,
the
it would be in the paperwork for sure, but yeah, I do hear you.
Because if we're going to, we might have to change the rate of the rental at some point.
Right, and that is
right.
And so if we have it written in the bylaws that it's $425, then you're already limiting yourselves.
And we don't have that we don't have it specified right now. That's why you don't want to commit, like at one time you said that your membership rate was $5 a person. You just want to keep away from the rates and put as
Right.
determined or something, keep it open-ended. You don't have to change them all the time.
Agreed.
But I just, if you're giving this out about advantages or someone's presenting it, at some other place, I just think that you need to point out 195 off of the current established rate or something like that. So they have some kind of idea, oh, I'm saving a lot of money or something, or as, this idea is it's subject to change as well, based on the current rate. And because I don't know what I'm taking the 195 off, someone outside of the club may not know what that means.
Yeah, and in the actual paperwork that, hold on, sir, the
Mhm.
actual paperwork that's done between the renters, it would be very
Mhm.
clear on what the base rate is and what they're receiving.
Okay, yeah, as long as, because this is kind of, I guess, for informational and also
Yeah. this is
selling,
just-
selling the idea. I understand that, but I just think we need to be very clear to people on what's the advantage, I help sell the advantage. So that's all I was concerned about.
Fair enough. Was there any other questions?
I did have, this is Rex Coucher again. I also brought with me a copy of our liability insurance for our nonprofit. We don't get it until July or June, end of June. So the one I gave you at the first of the year has expired. The new one, I've got a copy of the front page covering the $2 million coverage for general aggregate and $2 million for product completed operations, $1 million for personal and advertising injury, and so on and so forth down the list.
Okay, if you want to just email that to me, I'll make sure it's in your record so that it's current.
I'll just put it, he's already got a printed copy. I'm just gonna put it in your inbox in the office.
It's just the
Thank you,
front
Randy.
couple pages. It's for the front couple pages. What has happened this year, they went to digital only. So we didn't get a hard copy. They just emailed it to us online. So I just printed the first part of the liability.
Okay, and for future, you're welcome to just forward that to the club email and that would give us a copy of that as well. That's all we need.
The other thing that comes up is that several other nonprofits have talked with me about having to leave the Elks and find a new place to operate out of. They were wondering about the liability because they checked for liability insurance on the open market and it's very expensive. So I'm not sure, ours is under our national organization. They provide us with $100 per year for the $2 million coverage. So you can't beat that. Not everybody has a national organization that carries the liability insurance. So, anyway, that I did provide that today. So.
It's perfect. Thank you, Rex. Was there any other questions about the membership tier proposal? Because I'd like to call to the question.
There was one other question, Mr. Rex again. In the previous guidelines, we had it set up, I think, for 5 members of the nonprofit had to be members of the club. Is that still standard?
Yes, that is not yet changed.
Well, we had a couple of our members that were of the 5 are no longer with us, so.
And that's something we would need to verify is to make sure that each individual group has the 5 members in order to get it for free. But if not, this nonprofit would setup would actually be beneficial for a lot of groups.
Okay. We'll have to see if I can take some more members out of the trees.
That's an excellent point. Since part of this is contingent on these nonprofits having a membership, how are we confirming that? Are we going to take their word for it?
Honestly, I think it would be a better idea to have the list of members for each group that are receiving these benefits. we can get like a membership roster so that we can confirm that they are indeed members of the group so that they are receiving the discount appropriately. I think that would be the best.
Yeah,
All right.
personal privacy information is a problem. If you get a
Just names
number
would be perfect.
Without addresses or.
Yeah, we don't need any of the addresses or anything, just names of those who are part of that group.
So personally, I think then we need to put on, under this, for nonprofits, that you have to have at least 5 people as members. Because right now, it just sounds like my GFWC group, I'm a member of both groups, but nobody else is.
So groups of at least 5 members, but less than 25.
Yeah,
Right.
5 to 25 members.
But I mean, what you want is 5 of those members, like we have 12 members in our club. You want 5 of those members to have a membership here
No,
at the club? See, this is how.
Only if they want theirs for free. That was basically how they were able to meet at the club for free, is if they had 5 of the West Side Improvement Club members in their group, then
Okay.
that group would get the conference room for free once a month. But if they do not have at least 5 members from the West Side Improvement Club, they should be paying our regular rates.
Okay, so then if they get one of these nonprofit memberships, do we have to have 5 members of the club
no,
as members?
No,
Because we just have the club membership.
correct.
That's all I need to know. Thank you. It just made it, somebody saying about 5 members having to be members, or 5,
yeah,
In
no,
order-
that was a different program.
okay,
And it needs to be discontinued, really.
so we're changing that.
Yeah,
Okay,
this should be replacing that.
okay,
Because we don't need to fill the roster with people who only join so that their club
good
to
job.
get a benefit.
Right,
We would rather, for the same amount of money, we trim the fat on our membership to people who are actually wanting to be here,
right.
and they get more benefit.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Yeah.
Because the other way kind of,
And that's one of the reasons why we wanted to update it, is because there were some situations where it could benefit more nonprofits and our club to be a little bit more clear.
thank you for clarification.
Call the question?
Taylor? All in favor?
All in favor?
I
Aye. Opposed?
Any opposed? Motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
And this,
then,
to be clear, this would be implemented as of January 2023.
And now you can let NARC know.
Yes.
Okay.
perfect, thank you. And then any nominations from the floor?
So we are basically at the point, Matthew, did you want to touch this one?
Oh. Yeah, we need nominations for the board. I'm willing to continue as president. I would like somebody to run against me, but I don't know if that's gonna happen.
I am willing to stay on the board, but if there's somebody who would much rather, or who would be willing to do secretary, I am willing to step down and allow somebody else.
But you do such a good job. I'm willing to, this is Sally, willing to stay on the board.
I'm also willing to stay on the board.
As a board member or as a vice president?
Either one. I'm not sure if anyone else has any interest in running for vice president.
I'll trade you.
What is it? That would be fine.
Yeah, so the secretary basically keeps track of all the notes as you're reading these. You know, I keep meeting minutes and keep track of those who in attendance.
I think I'd be open to that if you want to switch.
Honestly, yes.
Okay. Sure. Try out something different.
Okay, I
That'd be fun.
nominate Kayla Sullivan as secretary of the board.
And I nominate Chandra Kay as vice president of the board.
Everybody gets a different job than me.
I'm staying at the board.
Fine, yeah.
Is there any of those who are currently on the board that does not wish to continue for 2023?
That would be me.
Say this is Desiree. I'll be stepping down next year.
Okay, so Desiree and Farrell are no longer interested. And what about you, Cheryl?
Let's see a second here. I can't.
And I would like to nominate Susie Mapes as a member of the board.
Does that need a second? I'll second.
I think she just needs to accept it or decline.
She accepts.
Thank you.
You were elected for 2 years, weren't you?
And let me double check. I believe there were also some other nominations. I want to.
Gotcha.
Can I have a
Gotcha.
That's something you guys would just like forget about it.
Well, no.
I thought the
We already
treasurer-
talked- we
no,
already
I thought the
discussed.
treasurer and president were both elected for 2 years.
I think it was just the president,
Right.
right?
I thought we talked about the treasurer
Talked
and the
about it.
president.
Talked about it, but I think when Chandra went to go look, it was only the president.
Correct.
And then the vice president goes into presidency after that. So
Not
that means,
necessarily, this was going.
Not
into sec-
necessarily.
Well, the president-elect. Well, if you had, normally you'd have a vice president. The vice president would go into your president-elect
right,
if they chose to, but yeah, I don't know, it's
The
weird.
president wasn't able to fulfill his remaining part, because that's how I originally became president of the club. Is that our previous president was the vice president,
Oh, then you become
and
elect.
he went in for colon cancer or something like that, never. We ended up getting it by mistake.
There was also a nomination for Greg Mitchell. Would you have any interest on being on the board?
I respectfully decline, but thank you.
And Joanna Bennett, you were also nominated. Do you have any interest?
I am also going to respectfully decline.
Okay, and then Brandy Wallace, are you interested in being treasurer again?
Yes.
we don't let her decline.
I was gonna say, don't put it that way.
We don't accept your designation. Okay, so
How many board members are required,
Required?
or regular board members, not the officers, but the board members?
we usually have the president, vice president, treasurer, and secretary, and then at least 4 additional board.
Yeah, 4, okay.
Yeah.
But we prefer
We
5.
prefer
It's only 5.
We would prefer
Oh,
5.
so 5 is the, okay.
5 is the norm. Huh?
So you have a majority.
Yeah.
So then there's somebody who
Well,
can
yeah,
break them.
so there's always a tiebreaker, yeah.
Because you see, Matthew cannot vote unless there is a tie.
Right.
I think the state of Washington only requires 5 to be for an active nonprofit.
But,
Yeah.
our,
I think it was 5 because when we attended the nonprofit convention or get together down at Ocean Shores, which we attended, they had one outfit that was a animal rescue group. They only had 3 people.
Madam Vice President, there's a hand up.
Yes, who has a question?
It's just a comment and maybe suggestion, or is there a position that we could create like an at-large substitute board member or something, so we don't have the issue we had last week about not having a quorum? Do you see what I'm asking?
Yeah, at large typically means it's not representing a particular district. So it wouldn't help us in this case.
We don't have districts, yeah.
Yeah, that's typically what an at large is. I don't know that we would have alternates, maybe. I think that's more what you're thinking of, maybe as an alternate, but I don't know that you can't, I don't know that you can have an alternate who's not a board member. That part I don't know.
It was just an idea, thought I had. All right, thank you.
I think what you're talking about is officers. They have to have a minimum of 4 officers.
I think what they had, of course, that was 10 years ago that we attended that particular. So they may have changed the RCW, which restricts you from registering as a nonprofit organization.
So we have a net loss of 2 members of the board.
Oh, you forgot to add Sally, right? Because you,
No, she said Sally Gill.
oh, up there. Oh, I was looking
Yeah.
down at the nominees.
No, I'm
Oh,
just continuing.
She's
Gotcha.
continuing.
I see. I see.
Those,
So we have a net loss of 1 board member. So, and since we were already down 1, we could really be trying to fill 2 spots.
And I will say that I think that Shonda Davis would make a good person in that role, but I don't know that she is also the cashier. So I don't know if that would be
That'd
a conflict.
Yeah.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, she'd be great. Well,
No.
we'll continue stumping for people for nomination between now and election.
The only other option is if the membership and the board wants to have Shonda as part of the board, she would just have to recuse herself when voting on anything that has to do with bingo.
The conflict of interest.
We have
Yeah.
a conflict of interest.
Yeah, so, and
It's an option in the,
that's a worst case, but
Yeah.
I would try and do it first, but I think that, you know, you'd have to look and see how many items come up before the board for, in the membership to vote on. And if she's out more than she's in, then it doesn't make sense.
Right. Okay, so as far as the nominations, is there anybody that would like to nominate themselves? So at this point, then we will put these guys down and then we will continue to seek out those who may be interested.
maybe some of those will join from like the artisan market or the bazaar, like we
Yeah.
had previously. And maybe you can talk somebody like that or twist their arm a little bit like some people do. To get people to be on the board.
Greg, I see your hand.
Yeah, I lowered it because I don't know if this is out of line or not, but Juanita seems to be coming to the meetings quite a bit, and would she be willing to, am I
I'm
able?
shaking her head quite vigorously. a minute ago.
Textually defines.
Yeah,
Thanks, Greg.
Okay,
yeah. You've been attending quite regularly as well.
duly noted.
All right, so I think that's everything for tonight, unless there was anything anybody else wanted to add.
This is Rex Toucher. I do have an extra item. At a previous general meeting that we had here, one individual asked about gambling commission bingo reports. I did go on the gambling commission website, found the listings for 2019 to 2020 coverage on what Westside Improvement Club was number 8 on the bingo list. And there's a summary of their income and their revenue and expense. And then they have 2018, got one from that. And there's also one from 2016, but for some reason, I don't have the sheet.
If you could share that with Brandy, I think she would probably benefit the most from that.
One of the problems is the gambling commission has not been entering those current reports because there hasn't been that much bingo operation after 2020. So that's missing. The Westside Improvement Club didn't even make it on the site, I think, for 2019. That was 2019.
Is that
2021.
ratings against other bingo halls? Is that what that
Yeah.
is? Oh, gotcha. Okay, yeah.
It's a summary report.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other thing is originally I put in to be on the SAW system for the gambling commission. I was never able to open it on my old computer. But they gave me a number. Now I get an email every month or every month and a half, which gives a listing of all of the meetings for the gambling commission. They gave me a Westside Improvement Club ID number. I don't know if you wanted or whether you're on the
No,
SAW,
that's specifically for you.
but it's for Westside Improvement Club.
Correct. It gives you access on behalf
Except I
of-
was never able to get on.
Yeah, you have to, it's,
So I have to go on it and contact the gambling commission to take me off of it. If it
No.
hasn't,
yes, I think you will.
the other one, Don Henry, was also on it. I'm not
Yes.
sure that he is still getting the email.
I don't know if he is or not, because that's the one where, Matthew actually had to do on letterhead to remove, Don and add me as the treasurer.
Yeah.
So they were able to get me on there and remove Don.
So I wasn't treasurer at this time, I was president.
Okay,
So apparently the president also has access to the SAW system.
yeah.
And has an identification number so they can respond.
Yeah, I think you have to contact them directly and tell them to remove.
I
it
do
from the
have a number
system.
for them. I will do that. So I'll cut down all of the list. And there's a whole listing of different meetings, upcoming public meetings for gambling commission to settle certain disputes and what the changes to the gambling laws are.
Yes, and Teresa also gets those because Teresa and Shonda had also attended the most recent training, so they're getting them as well.
I-
So, yeah, I think they just send them to everybody.
I can throw that away.
You can.
Recycle the papers.
Yeah, but to get you removed from the SAW system, I think you have to call them.
I was never able to get on the process, so I guess you
They
get
let you
on it, as long
create-
as you apply for it, they put you on it.
Yeah, they let you apply for it, and then to actually get into it, it's like a whole nother
Do
process.
you want the reports from?
I'll
those
take it.
meetings?
Yeah, I'm interested, yeah.
I think I wrote on that one on access to the gambling commission. You may have already received this one. This is the gambling commission reports in the schedule.
Here we go with the drawing.
Woo-hoo.
I won last
Thank
month.
I know you did.
Where'd it go to go?
Nowhere yet. I was gonna ask you if, because I know you
John Kay is not here, so he does try again.
to, the little blue schedule. And so what I was gonna do is, if, to give you the $25 cash and you can buy $25 worth of food this. Saturday.
Unfortunately, Carol is not here either, so we spend one more time.
Because you wanted to pay for nonprofit, and I thought I understood that she did it on her own. It's her and a couple of people are doing this on their own, so they're not an established nonprofit. Right. So I didn't know-
Rex, you won.
You write a check, make it to the Alzheimer's Association. For chapter 181 for the Alzheimer's War.
181.
Yeah, it was a team effort, even though I didn't walk because there was too much smoke in the air in Silverdale.
Was chapter 181.
Yeah, 0181. NARFE. They can accept donations till end of December.
Okay, I have another question. Last year, we talked about, giving turkeys and, food to people for Thanksgiving. Are we going to do that this year? I know we have another meeting before then.
We can take that $25 donation.
As far as I know, there has not yet been anything planned for that.
Okay, because I'm thinking that could be where the $25 goes, if we buy food.
I will say that there is a barrel in the cashier's room that we are accepting food donations. Those food donations go to Central Kitsap and Bremerton Backpack for Kids. So the children are actually receiving backpacks full of food. So if you want to donate, there is a barrel in the cashier room.
Okay, thank you.
So Rex, you won the $25, so you can talk to Brandy about what you'd like to do with that or receiving your monies.
He just took a note on that. Right?
Yeah, she's already doing it.
He gave it. to me.
Okay, perfect. Then I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. so
Thanks,
that's gonna
guys.
be
See you
done.
next time.
So I can
Thank you.
go buy this up, or I can